Welcome to the channel. This is Oblivion. We are here with the March update. It is a big update. We are getting refines, we are getting remixes, and we are getting Divine Codes 4, which is really exciting. So let's just jump straight into it. And let's start off, of course, with the remixes, as that's the first thing we're going to see. And of course, we have legendary Celica, and surprisingly, Mila, actually. I think most people expected Bramimond here. Mila was an option and something I considered, and she does kind of need it more, I guess. Bramimond is still considered better, so Bramimond's going to get pushed probably until July, it looks like, as May will most likely be Elgard and Lith. Let's go ahead and focus on Celica, because Celica did need some help. She's definitely underwhelming right now, but Soul of Sophia 2 actually looks really powerful and fixes a lot of legendary Celica's problems. So we have Soul of Sophia 2, essentially it gives no follow-up, and then it has, if unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. Now before, this was a desperation effect, but now they've just changed it into a straight-up Lumen-esque effect, right? You don't even have any type of health condition, you just get to attack twice, and this is really big. So I was thinking about making a legendary Celica like refined tier list, and one of the things at the very top was that she either needed a way to damage herself so she could get into desperation range, or she needed like a miracle effect so that she could, safely engage, and this kind of just completely fixes the problem, right? She's going to be able to go in, hit the opponent twice, and just blow them up and do a ton of damage, because one of the main effects of her weapon is true damage based off the foe's resistance, which is really good, right? We've seen that on legendary Alm, and it's really strong. Now the other thing that Celica really needed was damage reduction piercing, and Soul Sophia has it. So we have at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, inflicts speed -5 on the foe, and reduces the percentage of foe's non-special, reduces damage by X% skills by 50%. Okay, so what this essentially means is that, first of all, this is really cool. She's getting essentially a free +5 speed, which is really nice because she's obviously going to need a ton of speed to be able to do well in the meta. Now the second part is essentially reducing damage reduction in half. So if you have something like Dragon Wall that gives you 40% damage reduction, now it only gives you 20. Now obviously this isn't as good as damage reduction piercing most of the time, right? Because essentially you would line it up so that you can get the big special on the damage reduction piercing, and when it pops, you get to go through all that damage reduction and just kind of blow them up. But this is much more reliable, right? You don't have to get any type of special at all, so you don't have to worry about getting like guard as much or anything like that, as each of your attacks will be ignoring 50% of that damage reduction, which is actually really solid. We've seen how powerful this can be on someone like Flame Moosebell, right? Or even like Duo Lift back in the day. It's a very powerful effect, and the fact that she just gets it for free built into Soul of Sophia is so very good. And this is like exactly what I wanted for her. Like, this is so perfect. She's looking so good already. Soul of Sophia was already a very powerful preference B skill, right? No follow-up and a desperation effect is really good. The fact that the desperation got upgraded and we got damage reduction piercing is so big, and it's gonna allow her to just be like a really powerful nuke. And it obviously opens up her weapon refine to just be anything, right? It could be a million different things, and they will all be really good to make Celica just really powerful. Now, some of the things I would like to see is like slaying, possibly, right? She doesn't have slaying in the weapon, so that could help a lot, so she can get those specials off on the second hit and just blow somebody up. But other than that, really, it could be anything. As long as she gets some stats in there, she's gonna be doing pretty well. Now, we have to go on to her new inheritable skill, which is Attack Speed Menace. I'm gonna be honest, this is terrible. Like, this is not what Celica wants ever. You are not gonna be running this, I promise you, unless her refined like doubles down on like penalties for some reason, and like she's a complete penalty monster. You're not going to want this as your C skill. Because she doesn't have slaying right now, you're typically going to want Times Pulse 4, as it's going to allow her to get consistent specials off. But maybe if she gets slaying, you could run something different. But in that case, you're probably going to want to run like Attack Speed Oath 4, because it gives her more attack and more speed, which is what she needs to succeed, right? So I wish they would have given her Attack Speed Oath 4. I guess I think that she's valuable fodder, so that's why they didn't do that. But that would have been like the perfect skill in my opinion. Now let's move on to Mila. And Mila is still a good mythic in my opinion. I know a lot of people like kind of like crap on Mila and say that she's not that great, but in my opinion, she's still great, right? If you're like going for a tank strat or if like a hit and run strat, being able to shut down healers is really big, and odd recovery has kind of fallen out of the meta, though it's starting to make a comeback with Duo Elise, right? So I think this is good. So let's see what Mila got. So first of all, her new inheritable skill is Dragon Wall 3, which is that resistance-based damage reduction if you don't know. It's a okay skill, right? Like, it's good fodder, so if you have extra Milas, like, you can fodder that off to a dragon, and that's nice. But honestly, it's not the best. It's really not what we were looking for from Mila, who is a support unit, right? Which is a bad sign in my opinion, and it kind of gets worse when we look at Mila's Wheel 2. So Mila's turn Wheel 2, at start of combat, grants foe cannot make a follow-up attack to unit for 1 turn, and inflicts isolation and guard on foes in cardinal directions with defense less than unit's defense through the next actions, and then you get the extra turn in Aether Light Season as well. So what we see here is essentially she went from just like inflicting isolation and the extra turn, so now she has 2 more effects, right? She gets She herself gets follow-up denial, and then she also inflicts guard. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this is not the best. This is more of like a combat-esque refine, and we see that with Dragon Wall as well. I'm kind of afraid that they're gonna give her a combat refine instead of a support refine, which is what she really does, right? She is not a combat unit. Now, I've seen some funny Mila combat, compilations, but that's just not her main role in Ether Raids. So for her getting a chance to like deny follow-ups really doesn't make that big of a difference because she shouldn't be seeing combat, and the guard is okay. Now, the reason why I don't love it all that much is because typically when you are using Mila, you are trying to hit either a dancer or like a restore trap or something else, right? Like something like that. You're typically not using Mila on the unit who is going to be threatening your unit. Like, you're usually not hitting nukes. If you hit nukes, it's just because the dancer is behind the nuke, right? That's pretty much it. So it's good, right? Guard support's always good. Getting more guard is nice. But like typically it's not going to probably hit the main threat depending on the map layout. So I'm not the biggest on it. Like, it's good, right? It's not terrible at all. It's extra support, which I love. But I wish it was more. I wish that instead of her getting follow-up denial, she gave out follow-up denial. So that way she had like 3 layers of support, and that would have been really strong. That would have been great. But as it is right now, I'm a bit worried that Mila's going to get a combat refine, and then she's going to be even... Well, she won't be worse than she is now, right? Obviously, she can't get worse. But she just won't like stand the test of time later on as more and more powerful mythics come out. Okay, let's talk about the other refines of the batch. So we have both male and female Byleth, Forsyth, New Year's Selkie, Astrum, and Mila. So this is an interesting batch. I'm not gonna lie. Elderguard seems to have skipped. I don't know why, to be honest. It doesn't make any sense to me. The only thing I can think of is that they wanted 7 units here, and like it was easier to fit the Byleths in and make them count as 2, even though they're gonna get the same weapon refine. Other than that, I can't really know why, because we should be getting Legendary Elderguard in May, so maybe they're gonna do like base Elderguard in April and then Legendary Elderguard in May. I don't know. Other than that, we also have some other bad news. There is no demote refine, which is really bad because the demote refines have been delayed for a very, very long time. We've been barely getting any. We got Norn recently, but even she was waiting for a very long time. We should have got a Bantu here, but for some reason Bantu's not here as well. So that's really not the best. I really wish they would get on that already and like maybe just do like 3 or 4 next time, or they're all just demotes so we can get through some of them. We also have Nagi getting skipped here for Forsyth, which is a bit interesting, but that's fine. Astrum was expected. That's definitely nothing new. That's that's on plan. And then we also have Dua Alphonse not showing up as well. We get New Year's Selkie instead, which is very disappointing in my opinion. I much rather would have had Dua Alphonse, but I guess that's fine. Maybe next month will be really big with just a ton of like amazing refines. I don't know. Now when it comes to these units, some of them are still pretty good and some of them are really outdated, right? The Byleths actually have an amazing weapon. Creator Sword is still one of like, it's a very, very good preference weapon considering how old it is, right? It's like 4 years old almost, and it's so good because it has tempo and no follow-up built into it, which are essentially 2 of the most like meta skills possible. So hopefully these Byleths can get something else on top of that. I think it's like obvious they will get stats. They'll probably get either like +8 or +10 to all stats, somewhere in there. But they also want to get like an effect or 2. They can get like a good effect or 2 in there. Not even that many, just like 1 or 2 maybe. They're going to be amazing. They're going to be some amazing God Swords once again. So if you do have them invested, I think this is a great chance for them to like come back into the meta. When it comes to Forsyth, the competition's really stiff, right? We have like Shell and we have Brave Hector, who are like very meta bar saves and near saves still, even though they've kind of fallen off a bit. Shell's still really strong, but Brave Hector's kind of fallen off a little bit. So Forsyth is going to have to do something amazing, right? Because pretty much all his weapon does right now is heal. So maybe they just double down on that and he's just super like healing based tank, which could be cool. But I'm interested to see what they go. With New Year's Selkie, I have no idea. They gave base Selkie really crazy refines, so maybe New Year's Selkie gets one too. Astrum kind of gives out buffs, so maybe they play with that. We'll have to wait and see. But this is an interesting batch, and I'm very, very much interested in obviously the 2 remixes and then also the 2 Byleths. I cannot wait to see what they get. Okay, let's talk about some other small things before we get into the very big subject. Obviously, Ether Raids is getting updated, so Bolt Tower is going to be even more powerful, which is, cool, I guess. We also have the favor cap increase to 2900. I don't think many people care about that, but we do have a new captain skill, which is pretty interesting. Headlong Rush. So essentially, at start of turns 2 through 5, your captain is going to get charge, which is like the assault troop effect, right, or like the effect you see on Lear, and Canto 1. So that's actually pretty cool. This is essentially like a mobility captain skill, which is very nice, and I've seen the effects of mobility captain skills, and they're typically pretty good. So I'm excited to see how this turns out, and if it is going to be fun to play with. And also, we're going to get Soren and Lumera adds to Heroic Grails, which isn't surprising, but is nice for people trying to merge them up. Okay, now let's move on to the big subject of this update, and that is the Divine Codes 4. Now, Divine Codes are typically a big way to help free-to-play players out, everybody out really, and just give out some amazing fodder for free, essentially for playing game modes. and collecting those toilet paper. So let's start off with the 3 houses and 3 hopes chain. So they pretty much just gave 3 houses its own like little row here. And it's a really strong row. We have Manuela here with Winter Rapier, which is like an okay inheritable sword, not the best. We have Attack Speed 4 and Special Fighter 3, both decent fodder but nothing amazing. Honestly, the best thing here is that you get a merge for your Manuela if you were merging her up, because she is a pretty solid save unit if you do have the arcane weapon on her. Now right after that, we have a bombshell. We have Summer Dimitri for free. I never saw this one coming. This is amazing. Only at 800 toilet paper, you are getting Summer Dimitri. Now he comes with Attack Speed Catch 4 and Speed Defense Menace, which Speed Defense Menace is pretty rare, so that's really nice. But let's be honest, this is a merge for Summer Dimitri, and that is amazing. I am super big fan of this, love it. Definitely going to be getting this manual pretty quickly to get my Summer Dimitri even more powerful. Now the craziness doesn't end there. We have Monica coming up number 3 for 1200, and she has Attack Speed Ideal 4 and Speed Res Tempo. She's the only unit right now who has Speed Res Tempo in the game, and it's very, very powerful fodder. This is amazing fodder, super good for your nukes who need to get past that guard, and she's also just a great unit, so if you do get that free merge, once again, very valuable manual here. Cannot believe they only put it at 1200 codes. After that, we have Male Shez. Now, Male Shez is a very good unit, don't get me wrong, amazing, but his fodder is really, really good. Like, this is some premium fodder. We're getting Speed Defense Bulwark, which is one of the best B skills for your frontline units, especially in something like Summer Duels. Ether Raids too, but in Summer Duels, it's just a game changer. You can really just shut down like entire lanes and like really protect your team with it. Very, very powerful. But that's not even the best skill in my opinion. The best skill has to be Attack Speed of 4. This is one of the best C skills in the entire game for an offensive unit that is either infantry or flying. It's so good. It gives you the teleport, it gives you the buffs, and it gives you extra stats in combat. This is some premium fodder. This is like so very good. And then to top it off, the very end of the row for 2000 codes, we're getting Brave Violet. That's right, we're actually getting some CYL units. They typically do put 2 CYL units in each set of codes, and this time we got Brave Violet, and she is a fantastic unit. So if you're going for a merger, that's a lot of value in itself. But if you aren't, you're getting Attack Speed Catch 4, Speed Preempt 3, and Speed Res Hold. Those are 3 very good skills, right? Now technically catches are pretty common, you're going to see that a lot, but Speed Preempt 3 itself is such a powerful skill. I cannot tell you how good this skill is and not to underestimate it. It's so good on so many units, and it can transform so many like nuki units into very difficult units to take down. They essentially can go in, kill something, and then also have Speed Preempt as a way to protect themselves. And you see this on like Legendary Shez, and it just makes her into a complete monster and an annoyance to deal with. So very, very powerful skill. Speed Res Hold is also very nice, right? Nice little upgrade over Speed Res Run. So overall, very fantastic set of codes right there. Let's move on to Awakening and Fates. So Awakening and Fate starts off with Ninja Male Corrin. We have Ninja Natagata Plus, which is an actually very powerful inheritable lance. It's essentially a brave lance with true damage added up to it. You can get up to 4 true damage. Very valuable, actually really, really great inheritable weapon if you're looking for some fun player face shenanigans. It was very good on Fallen Dimitri too, one of his better weapons. He also has Swift Spiral 2, which really isn't a big deal, but he has Special Spiral 3, and that is really big because Special Spiral 3 is what you're going to want to have if you're going for Special Spiral 4, right? When you're doing those rearmed Ophelia inherits, you never want to spend all the inheritance just on Special Spiral. You want to inherit from either like a Green or a Lewin or this Corrin and then just get a whole bunch of skills. So this is really, really valuable, especially if rearmed Ophelia does make it into the AHR banner. After that, we have Flavia. Flavia is definitely a demote over like Spring Dimitri, but she does have Attack Speed Push 4, which is kind of whatever, and then Red Feud. So they obviously are valuing Red Feud kind of high here. I think it's a good skill, but it's kind of niche, right? It's like more about like countering a certain strategy or unit you need to deal with and less like overall value. So kind of decent, not bad. But after that, we have freaking Fallen Lilith, and Fallen Lilith is amazing fodder. This unit is not only amazing, Fallen Lilith offers 3 very valuable skills: Attack Speed Catch 4 once again, Dive Bomb, which is really good on offensive flyers, and then lastly Speed Smoke 4, which is obviously really, really good. You're going to see Speed Smoke 4 on a lot of meta builds, so being able to get that for free is a very big deal, very big pickup, very nice to see that in this codes. After that, we have Valentine's Lucina, and now Valentine's Lucina is a really interesting pick. Not only is she a fantastic unit, right? She can be very good at high merges and like summoner duels, and she's just like a good overall like near save unit. But she has great fodder. So she has Kestrel Stance 3, which is an attack and speed stance. She has Savvy Fighter 4, which is really, really good. She's one of the only units in the game with that. I think the only other one is Takumi at the moment, Valentine's Takumi. And then lastly, she has Near Save. We actually have a way to pick up Near Save from these codes as well, which is very big for free-to-play players, as that is a very meta skill in a lot of different strategies. And then to top it off, the very end of these codes is Brave Crom. Now Brave Crom himself as a unit is very good, very powerful unit with some insanely cool strategies, but his fodder is even better in my opinion. I love Brave Crom fodder. It feels really bad to kill him, to be honest, but like that fodder is so good. So he has Surge Sparrow, which is really good. It's an offensive attack and speed pushing skill that also heals when your special goes off. It's very, very good, very powerful. You have SD Near Trace, a skill you're going to want on a ton of offensive cav units. And then lastly, Infantry Speed Tactic. And now this is really the gold mine of fodder. This is one of the most powerful skills in the entire game right now. You're going to want it on a lot of different units. Any type of support unit really loves this, like Bridal Catria, like Winter Cordelia, like Legendary Ninian, Hatari Azura, Legendary Azura. Like all those units love this skill. It's so powerful and it lets you really optimize your skills on your other units so that you don't have to run no follow, which is a very big deal because it lets you run more stats or more powerful B skills. So very, 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 very big fodder. One of the most exciting things to see in this entire list of codes. Next up, we have the Heroes Radiance code section. I'm very confused by this. I don't know why they put heroes here, considering there's only one heroes unit at the end, but whatever, sure, why not? So we have Ileana right here. Young Ileana does have a low attack res 3 and attack res gap 3. Honestly, not the most to write home about. It's not bad fodder, but it's definitely not anything you're like gonna be super excited for typically. Now for the people trying to merge her up, that is another merge, so that's cool. Next up, we have Hatari Nyla, and I love this unit. For me, this is a merge. She's a fantastic and fun unit to play as. Now, when it comes to fodder, she has Sturdy Surge. Sturdy Surge is more niche than Surge Sparrow, in my opinion. It can be good on like the more attack and defense heavy cav units you want to like heal up, right? It can be good. Not my best choice, in my opinion. And then she also has low speed defense, which is a very good skill, but once again, it is a bit old, so not the most valuable fodder, but a very good unit if you want to go for a merge. After that, we actually have Young Mia, and Young Mia has some really good fodder. She has Flashing Blade 4, which is a bit old, but is still very, very good and is used on a lot of units in Gale Force teams. And then she has Speed Defense Tempo. Now this is a good skill. This is going to be very, very powerful on a lot of your nukes. It's going to let you get those specials off, and it's extremely rare fodder, so very nice to pick that up. And then lastly, she has Odd Tempest, which is also nice. Definitely not something you should be underestimating. After that, we have Ninja Shinon, which I'm a bit confused about, to be honest. Ninja Shinon does have good fodder, but he just doesn't seem to add up in that slot compared to some other units we got, right? You can't really compare Ninja Shinon to Valentine's Lucina, in my opinion, right? It just doesn't add up. But he has Ninja Yumi, which is a brave bro with some true damage, but because White Cat Bow exists, honestly, I would not recommend using this bow unless you just don't want to spend the heroic grails for it. But honestly, White Cat Bow is just way better. You get Deadeye, which obviously is very, very good fodder. You get Attack Speed Solo 4, which is good fodder, but not as valuable as some of the other attack speed skills we've seen. And then lastly, you get low speed defense, and once again, that is an older skill, so kind of a mixed bag for me for Ninja Shinon being this high in the codes. I think I would put him like around the 800 or 1200 mark at the latest. I'm not sure why he's so far down in here. And then lastly, we have Flame Muspel, which is kind of weird, but whatever, we'll take a heroes unit, right? Why not? And he has some good fodder. He has attack, defense, catch 4, which is okay. It's not the best in my opinion, but he does have Dragon's Wrath 4. And now Dragon's Wrath 4 is very, very good fodder. There are so many good dragons who can take full advantage of this and just really become powerhouse units. This includes like both Fallen Korans, Sothis even, and some other units as well. Like it's a very powerful skill, so very nice. And Flame Muspel himself is a very good unit, so if you want a merge for him, this can also be a great path to go down. Honestly though, this path overall is a bit less value to me than the two before. After that, we have the Game Boy Advance path, in my opinion, right? You got Binding Blade, Blazing Blade, and Sacred Stones. We got Bridal Cecilia first. She does have Bridal Orchid, which is like an inheritable tome. It has like some attack and res on it and some extra bonus to each stat. It's okay, not amazing. You're definitely gonna want like Arcane Eclipse over that typically. Then we also have a Rally Attack and Res Plus, which is nice, right? At 400 codes, you can pick that up. Use that on an arena unit for better scoring. So that's pretty good. That's probably what you're typically gonna do if you don't want to merger. You also have Attack Res Ruse 3, which is pretty okay, but not great. And then Rouse Attack Res, which is also not the greatest. After that, we have Ascended Joshua. Now, Ascended Joshua is a great unit, but his fodder is not the best. For some reason, they did not give him lethality, which just makes no sense to me personally, but whatever. So we do have Life and Death 4, which is a good skill in very certain strategies. Essentially, you're going to want to use Life and Death 4 on AoE units. So whenever you're using an AoE, you want those visible stats, and Life and Death 4 can be a great option for that. But typically, you're not going to use it for much else. So that's kind of like a miss. You have Null Follow-Up, which is okay, but it also is a seal, so it's not the best. And then lastly, Green Feud. So they're obviously putting a lot of value on Green Feud here. Green Feud can be good, but still, it's pretty niche overall. After that, we have Fallen Ninian. Fallen Ninian comes with B-Dual Infantry 4, Odd Pulse Die, and Crossbow Attack. Now I'm going to tell you the truth, dual 4 skills are outdated. Scoring 180 just is not enough in Arena nowadays, and so I don't really think this is all that much of valuable fodder. The Odd Pulse Die can be very nice for things like Summoner Duels, as you can show off some very valuable specials in that game mode, but the real value on this fodder in my opinion is Crossbow Attack. Being able to give +5 attack is really good, especially when you can stack that up, right? Like something like Duo Peony, you put that on her and you get like +10, right? That's really big. Or like whenever you need like a support unit who can support from far away, it's really good for like Gale Force teams or like hit and run teams. So that's very good fodder. Nice to see that. Also, Fallen Indian's a great unit. Don't really need merges though, to be honest. After that though, we have Ascended Athune, and Ascended Athune is an amazing unit still, really powerful, great blue far or near save, and she also has decent fodder as well, right? We have Sturdy Stance 3, which can be really good on a lot of armors, especially in SD, you want to run stance skills a lot, because it lets you shut down specials. Then you have Wily Fighter, which is okay, right? You get the bonus neutralization, and also the guaranteed follow-up attack, but then lastly you get near save, and once again, another near save chance is really good for free-to-play players. It's just a way to pick up very valuable fodder without having to use orbs, which is really nice. And then lastly, we have Flame Lyn, and oof, man, this is some value here. 2,000 codes for Flame Lyn. She's obviously a fantastic unit, but she also has fantastic fodder, right? Godlike Reflexes, which is a very powerful special, very valuable, just a fantastic special you're going to want to have on a lot of units. So being able to pick it for free is good. Shield Pulse 3, honestly, like is whatever. Probably not going to use it on that many people. And then lastly, though, Speed Smoke 4. Once again, very valuable, like I was talking about Fallen Loath. This is a meta skill you're going to see on a ton of like God Sword or fast units, right? So being able to pick up Godlike Reflexes and Speed Smoke 4 is like ultra value fodder. And you know, of course, Flame Lyn herself is a very powerful unit. So if you do get that merge, right, that's one more merge to +10, which just makes her that much more powerful. Okay, let's move on to the Genealogy and Thrasha code section. First up, we have Scion Julia. Now, Scion Julia is a good unit if you can get the Arcane Eclipse on her. But other than that, she's not the best. So like the merge is good if you're a Julia fan, right? Wildly might be happy. I'm not sure if she has her at +10. But other than that, like the fodder's not the best, right? You're getting Luminous Grace, which is like a weapon that can heal you and give you a bit of attack and speed. Not fantastic. Rally Speed Res Plus, nice for an Arena Core, like if you need that for scoring, then that's a good option. And then Attack Speed to Ashore, which is, you know, it's a good A skill. It's a very budget A skill, but it does give you that 7 attack and speed, which you do need a lot of times. So it's not terrible, just not amazing. After that, we have August, and August, honestly, not the best. You get Nudge Plus, which is like probably the worst healing movement skill, right? Typically you want like Return or the drawback version or whatever, right? Like if they put a Smite version out, that would be great, but the shove isn't amazing. You get Fireblood Palm Plus, Defense Res Bond Forward could be okay if you're going for like a very bulky save unit. You could put that on them and then they will always activate that Bond Forward skill, so that's okay, not the best still. And then Even Recovery 3, also not the best skill. Typically you want Auto Recovery if you're going to go for anything. But next up we have Tine. Tine has Fury 4, still a very valuable skill even though it's been years since it came out. And just that recoil damage really allows you to pull off some cool stuff for Gale Force strategies in particular. You get no follow-up, which is not great. It's already a seal, so it's not that like amazing. And then we have Blue Feud 3, which is obviously where they're putting a ton of value on these feud skills. I'm not sure why. They are good, don't get me wrong, but they're very niche. After that, we have Ascended Ishtar, who has Life and Death 4, and just like I was saying before with Ascended Joshua, it's good, but like only on certain like builds and strategies, and it's not something you want to use all the time. After that, we have Low Speed Res 3, very valuable skill, but still a bit old, so kind of weird for it to be this late into the code section. And then we have Times Pulse 3, which is good once again, very valuable skill, you're going to use a lot of units. Times Pulse 4 is out there, but obviously they weren't going to give us that for free because it just came out on Nino like a month ago, right? So that's not a big of a surprise. Good skill though to pick up though. And then lastly, though, we have Ascended Marita. And Ascended Marita is obviously the jewel of this code section. You get Vital Astra, which is a very meta special right now. It's very good on a ton of units. Super awesome. And then you have Attack Speed Solo 4. It's a good A skill, right? Don't get me wrong. It's a good A skill, but there are a lot of better options nowadays. So it's good, but like not ultra value. You get Spurn 3. Once again, good skill, just not ultra value, especially when you have stuff like Close Call 4 coming out, right? Which is just way better in my opinion. And then lastly, Eat Tempest, which is a good skill once again, but not ultra value. So kind of a mixed bag when it comes to this code section as well. And then lastly, we have Heroes, Mystery, and Echo code section. I don't know why Heroes got 2 sections, it's a bit weird, but whatever. First up, we have Hatari Zane, who has Serpentine Staff, which is essentially a Fatal Smoke Staff that does like Savage Blow as well. It's okay, you're not going to really use it very often. I can't really think of a place you would use it, maybe on Ether Raid's defense, but probably not. He has defense res solo, once again, not the best A skill, and then dazzling staff 3, which is okay, right? That's actually pretty good. If you want to build a healer and you need dazzling fodder, this is a great place to pick it up. But now at the 800 code section, we have some fantastic fodder. Oh my god, I cannot believe they put this at 800 codes. We have Ascended Celica. So Ascended Celica, life and death 4 against, just like I was saying before, not the best. But what we do get is infantry null follow-up, and oh my god, I was thinking about pulling for this, and now I don't have to. This is such a powerful skill. Just like I was saying with Brave Krom with infantry speed tactic, this is just a very meta powerful skill and is so very, very good. I cannot believe they're giving it away for 800 codes. That is a steal. This is one of the skills that will allow you to just optimize your builds on your more powerful units, and it just is a game changer. It's a complete game changer, so very powerful. I cannot believe it's this low. Also, Ascended Celica herself is a fantastic unit, really, really difficult to deal with and annoying, so a free merge on her is also very good. Like, this is like super ultra value at 800 codes. Now, at 1200 codes with Spring Maria, and this is a bit of a more mixed bag, you're getting Rally Speed Defense Plus, which is okay for like an arena unit. You get Attack Defense Push 4, which is pretty outdated nowadays, it's just not something you really want, so you'd much rather have like Attack Defense Catch 4. And then lastly, Flow Fight 3, which is good, but once again, not like usable on a ton of units. It's very niche. So I'm not really sure why she's at 1200. Honestly, I would switch Celica and Spring Maria. I'm glad they didn't though, right? It saves me some codes. After that, we have Spring Delthea, and now she has a ton of fodder. You have Attack Speed Catch 4, you have Speed Res Trace 3, and Rouse Attack Speed 4. So this is some really, really, really good fodder. Especially what you can do is like fodder her, get the Catch 4 and the Trace right. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it is possible. And that is really, really solid fodder. Amazing fodder. The Rouse Attack Speed 4 honestly is a bit kind of meh, especially compared to the Oath skills. The Oath skills are so much better than Rouse skills in my opinion. So you're probably not going to want to go for that. But getting Catch and Trace is just amazing. That's pretty much like a meta build you're going to be going for a lot of calves. So very great fodder. Also Spring Delthea is good as well. But the jewel of this code section is so good. It is Ascended Theorem. And if somehow you've been sleeping under a rock and don't know, Ascended Theorem is like the gold mine of fodder. She has Steady Posture 3, which is the speed defense stance that gives guard. That's fine, that's good. But she also has Hardy Fighter 3 and Attack Res Far Save 3. Both of those skills are extremely meta. Hardy Fighter is essentially the skill you run on a majority of your save armors in the game, and then Far Save obviously is Far Save, which is also a very, very meta skill. This is ridiculously good fodder. This is something that a lot of free players should be going for, as it's going to allow them to do all kinds of things in the game that you're going to want to do, right? Like it's going to be good in like Ether Raids and Summoner Duels and like pretty much every game mode. So seeing this here is fantastic. One of the best options that they've given us for codes. Okay, so when it comes to the overall rankings, I think Awakening Fates is actually the most valuable line. You're getting amazing fodder from beginning to end, with Flavia being the only real miss there, and even then it's not that bad. After that, you have Three Houses. I think Three Houses is a really solid lineup. Not only can you get merges on very good units, you're also getting very valuable fodder, with Speed Res Tempo being very, very rare, Speed Defense Bulwark, right, and Speed Preempt. All those are very rare and valuable and powerful skills. I think that comes in at 2 for me. Number 3, I'm going to give to Heroes, Mysteries, and Echoes. Infantry Null Fall this low is just fantastic. You're also getting some other good skills in there. Mostly it's because of the Hardy Fighter and Far Save. Both those skills are just ridiculously valuable, so being able to get them for free just immediately makes this line of codes very, very good. After that, I'm going to put the GBA game, so Binding Blade Blazing and Sacred Stones. Meteor Save plus Godlike Reflexes is really, really good value. Now, obviously that's at the end, so it is a bit rough. So that does lower it a bit, but it's still very, very good set of lines. After that, we have Heroes and Radiance for me. I think this line kind of sucks. This is where the lines kind of get bad in my opinion. You do get some good value with like Deadeye and like Dragon's Wrath 4, but it's at the very end. In the beginning is okay. You get Tempo, which is really nice, but other than that, it's not the best fodder in my opinion. And then lastly for me is going to be Genealogy. I think Genealogy is the worst set of codes. Pretty much you're not getting much until the very, very end with Vital Astra from Ascended Merida, right? Life and Death and Fury 4 are pretty old skills. They're good, but not amazing still, and the first 2 codes really don't offer much. Overall, very good batch of Divine Codes, but I do want to talk about a few more things. First of all, the Divine Codes from the older sections, so like 3 and 2 and stuff, are still available to get from rewards from Summoner Duels, it seems like, so that's pretty cool. So if you want to get that favor up, you can get some of those. Also, you will not get florets from picking up Ascended Heroes, so if you get the manual from Ascended Joshua, you do not get the floret from that, just to let you know that. And then lastly, I want to talk about some of the skills I'm kind of sad that aren't here, right? Because there are some very missable skills. First of all, there are no clash skills. We don't have any attack speed clash or attack defense clash from something like Brave Seliph or from like Rearmed Lith. which isn't that surprising because they are so powerful, but it is kind of sad to not see them. We also don't have finish skills, which really sucks because those are really valuable. So something like Witch Corn giving attack speed finish would have been fantastic, but fortunately we don't get that as well. No Times Pulse 4, that's not a surprise. Honestly, that would have been like ridiculous ultimate fodder, right? If they put Nino on here, like that code line just automatically becomes the best because that fodder is just so valuable. After that though, we also don't have Attack Smoke 4, which kind of sucks. That's a very good skill for a lot of units. That's not here. I'm really surprised we didn't get any improved distant counter or close counters, right? We got one last time with Gatekeeper, but we didn't get like, I don't know, dual Ike or like something like that, or even like a resistance distant counter upgrade, which is much more normal nowadays to see, right? We didn't get either of those, which kind of sucks. And the last thing I want to talk about is that we didn't get Unity. I'm very surprised we did not get Unity skills here. I was really hoping to see Brave Marianne with like attack speed Unity or like something like that, right? Any of the Unities really, attack defense Unity, any of those skills would have been really nice to pick up because they are so valuable in this meta. Okay, the final thing we have to discuss before we are done with this update is the Divine Codes. So we have a new set of monthly Divine Codes, and honestly, this is one of the weaker batches we've gotten. We got Fiora. Fiora just has like Fury 3, Pegasus Flight 3, which is already available on the 3 to 4 star, so really no value there. Then we have Spring Indigo, who has Springy Bow Plus, which is an okay bow, but Whitecap Bow just blows it out the water, so not that much value there. We get a Rally Plus, which is nice for Arena, but still not the best, right? A Rally Attack Speed is the best of that batch, but still not amazing. We get G Dual Flying 4. Now this seems like it's an amazing set of fodder, but honestly, the dual skills are just so outdated. You can't really use them that well to stay like in tier 21. Even tier 20, it can be a bit rough, so it's okay, but not amazing. And then lastly, Attack Speed Rain 4, which is good, but once again, not great. So like Spring Indigo is decent fodder, but he's not like fantastic in my opinion. And then also we get Flame Mordecai, which is cool if you're merging him up. The March update was a very big one, and it honestly has a lot of great information, a lot of great stuff in here. Like very impressed with it. There is one thing missing though that I am ultra disappointed about, and that is there is no skill inheritance cap increase, and this would probably be the month it would show up. It's possible it shows up in later months, but I think if it was going to show up, it would have been here, and it's not here. So I'm very disappointed by that, more than anything else, to be honest. But I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Honestly, it's not the biggest surprise, but man, I really want that skill inheritance cap. So for me, I'm probably going to start inheriting some skills and building some units because I don't plan to wait another year to do that. But now I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of this update? What do you think of the refines, the remixes, and most importantly, the Divine Codes 4? What unit would you have loved to see in the Divine Codes, or what skill would you have liked to see? Make sure to drop a comment down below letting me know. Also, would love to thank all the members for all their support. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. This has been Oblivion. I'll catch you all later with more Fire Emblem Heroes.